Unturned is broken. After 10 years, the vanilla experience is still fundamentally unbalanced and honestly, not very fun. But here's the thing, that might actually be okay. Today, I'm breaking down everything wrong with Unturned in 2025, why it should probably stay that way, and how the community keeps this broken game alive through pure determination. Let's start with the biggest problem, bases. So bases have a lot of things that are wrong with them, but one of the things that I think is just really goofy is, well, sky bases. Now, I understand that they are kind of a staple of Unturned, but let's be honest, they are very unbalanced. I mean, they encourage mega basing that is extremely difficult to raid unless you have the right tools, and they also allow for incredibly toxic PvP with umbrellas or gliders, but those are kind of gone. And basically you just go in your base /home or whatever, and you jump out with your umbrella and drop on a military base or whatever and just get easy kills. Now, obviously this isn't really that much of a problem in just base vanilla servers, but let's be real here, when's the last time you've seen a purely vanilla server? Because I haven't seen one in at least a decade, all right? Now, I guess there is the, balancing method of oxygenators, but the rate at which you die through oxygen is so slow that I'm gonna be honest with you, I think everyone is like an actual genetic mutant that lives in, I don't know, the Himalayan mountains or something, and they just have bigger lungs and they live forever. But I guess that does count as a debuff to that. The next thing is, well, the fact that bases don't have any upkeep. I mean, seriously, there's no upkeep for bases in this game. You could just have them there forever, and as long as you get on the game at least once every 7 or to 14 days, which is the natural decay system, by the way, which effectively doesn't exist, let's be real, you could just have your base forever, unless you get raided, of course. And there's no upgrade tool. I'm gonna be honest with you, I think it would be a cool idea, if we had a system like the hammer and Rust, where you could just upgrade things, from wood to metal or metal to brick or whatever. Or, I know what Charles suggested is just having a replace tool, which might be a little bit more palatable, but it would be cool. Why can't we have cool things? Next thing is the fact that generator drain is just stupid. It doesn't scale with the number of devices you have, and you don't even get a time frame. You just get percentage. They don't even tell you how long it's gonna last for. And you can't extend that time. You're just stuck with the cap that they have, which I guess is a balancing of sorts, but it's just a little stupid they don't have a time frame for it. Like every other game has it, but Unturned doesn't. And can we also talk about the fact that you can just log out with your loot? I think this is just stupid. I understand it's not always easy to fix this kind of issue, right? But how many people do you know on these vanilla servers that just log out with their gear all the time, and then you raid their base, there's nothing there because they all logged out with their best gear? It's an issue, okay? And I know they made it better. They fixed the gold account thing. The GOAT, Charles, suggested that one, but still an issue. And another thing, can we just talk about the fact that this game doesn't have any kind of cost to repair anything? You could just pull out a blowtorch and just repair your entire base for free for nothing. Seriously, the only cost to repairing things when servers have durability turned on. And I don't know about you guys, but I've never seen a server with durability on. They just don't exist. And even then, the durability drain on a blowtorch is very slow, like everything else. So honestly, very mute point. The next thing is that why is there not a block on repairing things after it takes damage? Why is it possible that you could have somebody raiding your base and you just have 4 people with blowtorches that are just super repairing something so they can't even destroy it? Why is that even possible? I hate to compare this game to Rust every single time, but just have a block for 30 seconds after something takes durability damage that they can't repair. And by the way, this includes vehicles, by the way. I know that they made it much harder to repair vehicles when you're in it, if not impossible. How many times has it been that people just abuse this? All right, it's goofy. And it should not be possible. Also, maybe not all vehicles should just explode when the durability runs out. I mean, it's kind of strange. I mean, I get why it happens, but you'd think that maybe not every vehicle just blows up when it breaks down. Hold up. Before we jump into the next section, are you subscribed yet? If you like my content and want to see more, then hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And I also want to hear from you. Do you agree with my thoughts so far? Or do you think Unturned is in a totally different spot right now? Drop a comment. I read every single one, and I'm eager to hear from you all. Let's get into the next section. All right, let's start with the bows and the wooden rifles. First off, the bows, why are they so weak? I'm gonna keep it real, they shouldn't be as weak as they currently are. Somebody can die with a bolt to the head. The crossbow should be able to kill people, okay? And the wooden rifles, let's be real with you, irrelevant. I've never seen somebody craft one of these and actually use them when you can go to the goddamn police station or military base and grab yourself a militarized rifle. Why? Why would you ever use that? I mean, seriously, getting strong weapons is so easy in this game, and honestly, there's nothing inherently wrong with that, but why have these other things if they're just never gonna be used at all? At the very least, bows need a buff, okay? That's non-negotiable, those need a buff. Wooden rifles, okay, whatever, they can just exist. And then durability for weapons, if even they're ever used, they break so easily. Maybe that's supposed to be like a balancing method to make it so that the guns are, balanced because you get them so easily. To be fair, this is coming from somebody who doesn't like durability, so I guess maybe I'm a little bit hypocritical. I mean, I had the idea of maybe having, ammo for these pre-fall weapons, which is basically just weapons that spawn, right? Be late game craftable, but you could probably make like crappy, makeshift versions of the ammo that work, but maybe reduce durability faster and are less effective, or some other kind of solution to make things at least be, I don't know, balanced? Can't even imagine balance in this game. Why the hell are rocket launchers spawnable? And especially so in police stations. Why do we not have a separate spawn for the prisoners? The amount of guns and weapons they have in those prisoner cells, you'd be thinking that El Chapo was in there. How are they smuggling these weapons in? How? How is it even possible? Like, do I even want to know? I mean, you can get a rocket launcher in a police station. There's nothing else I can say. It's just that. That's just how it is. Oh, and also, raiding should be harder, yet more rewarding. I mean, we already talked about it earlier, but with how easy it is to get raiding supplies sometimes, it's just, Unturned raiding is just goofy let's be real. I mean, overall, a lot of the loot progression is just very strange. And I mean, I'm fine with the game being casual, loot's easy to get, but embrace that, Make it make at least a little bit sense, which obviously I'm not suggesting how to make it fun, because it's not easy to do that. But seriously, why have things if you're not gonna make them actually be fun and useful? Now we should talk about building and locations, which I think should be something that should be in the setting that you can turn on or off. And I think you could probably do this by using the navigation of zombies, as that's probably the best way to do it anyway. And the reason I say this is because in many locations, you can either become a mega camping, like on the Needle, or you can just block off the entire location with your own doors, like in Scorpion 7. Why? I mean, I'm not against being able to build in locations, but as it currently stands, it's very, well, not balanced. Can we just talk about the fact that there's a lack of getting any kind of gear outside of locations? Like, there's no ways of getting weapons or tools outside of locations. Like, you can't just go down, I mean, you could punch a tree to death, of course, you can still do that, but you need tools to be able to craft a lot of these weapons, like the bows. You just can't do it unless you have tools. So if all of the locations are camped by other players, you're cooked. You're really just cooked. I mean, seriously, if you look at a map like Russia, which is probably the most extreme version of this, even if you get locations, like you can get barely anything, no good gear, no guns. And what happens is that when you try to go up further and get to the better location, you just get cooked because you don't have any weapons. I mean, it's a very unbalanced kind of system and progression there. It's not, obviously nothing's perfect, but it's pretty bad in Russia. Now, what I suggest is that we should at the very least have makeshift alternatives to the blowtorch, the saw, and the hammer. Because currently we don't have that. So if you don't get those tools in locations, you're screwed. You just can't craft a lot of things. Like, I think this is a very simple thing you could do. Maybe added some new resource nodes or something to make this better. I mean, I think crafting stations are a step in the right direction. I think that's cool they added that, right? I know a lot of people don't like it. As it currently stands, there's like basically no way of getting gear or loot outside of loot locations. Now, again, I don't want to keep on bringing up Rust, but the Rust barrel and crate system works well because it allows players to get gear without having to try to risk going into locations. Obviously, this isn't directly applicable to Unturned, and I'm not saying they should implement it. We need interesting and fun ways for players to get gear outside of locations that allows a more passive way of doing things. Another one, this one's kind of controversial, but there's a lack of consequences for killing other players. Now, I'm not saying there should be some like insane repercussions for doing this, but I think it would be a good idea to improve PvE by maybe having it so that players who have a very bad negative reputation maybe are not able to go into the Liberator, for example. They get shot at, they go close. Or maybe they have some kind of indicator, kind of like in DayZ with the, the cannibals having that laugh. And maybe there's like some indicator to encourage people to be better. Obviously, Unturned is a very much PvP game, but I think that there could be some fun little ways to encourage more PvE behavior in players instead of just having it be a free-for-all, which is basically just PvP is the king of the world. The reason I suggest this is that I think it would be interesting and maybe helpful in bolstering the PvE aspect of the game. And for the last thing in this chapter, I just gotta say that the whole way that vehicle spawning works is kind of dumb. The whole system that there's a certain cap of vehicles, and after that cap is reached, no vehicles spawn is good, right? Obviously, we need that for ensuring that the performance of the game doesn't just die. There is something to be said that after all the vehicles are put away in mega bases or held somewhere else or here and there, basically new players just can't get vehicles anymore. Obviously, there's no real easy solution to fix this problem. I think there should maybe be some kind of system in place to make this be a little bit more forgiving for new players. I don't really have a perfect solution for this. Maybe making it so that there's more craftable vehicles. You can make makeshift vehicles. I know we have makeshift vehicles in the game. Maybe overhaul them a bit to be actually better instead of just the clankers that they currently are, right? Overall, I want new players to have a better chance. Okay, anyway, let's go get on to the conclusion and talk about tying everything together. I think, to be honest with you, that Unturned has done its job, and that the game isn't actually all that bad. People forget to realize that Unturned is one of the highest ranked games in the Steam charts. While it certainly doesn't have the super insane high player count and popularity it once had, it's still a very casual game that a lot of people have played. And I think that a lot of people, myself included, want the game to be better. Maybe people don't really understand that the game is good as it is. It has quite a lot of faults, of course. The game still punches way outside its weight class. Another thing is that the game still has a very active developer, as opposed to many other game developers abandoning their games. And even more is that there's rumors that he's potentially even getting back into 4.0 development as well. My main point for this game is that, well, Unturned is a casual experience and many people have played and enjoyed it. Maybe not as long as a lot of the people with thousands upon thousands of hours like myself. You know, they enjoyed the game and they moved on. Hell, many content creators have also played the game, like PewDiePie, for example, being the most notable of them. Overall, Unturned, for all of its faults, is still something special, and a lot of people have already moved on after enjoying the game for what it was. I think the game should embrace what it is and continue to develop upon that. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys next time.